Hello, it's Jang here from jangbricks.com with a look at a K'NEX Titanfall set. This is the Ultimate Angel City campaign. This one comes with 1,448 pieces. All of this is built from the contents of one set. 2 Titans, you get a whole selection of figures, a whole bunch of terrain stuff, structures, buildings, stands to hold the figures on. Let's go ahead and dive in and look at things one by one. Let's start with this Atlas class Titan in Militia Green. And this thing, well, both of the Titans included in the set are monsters. They are much larger than I expected. Definitely a very pleasant surprise. They use a lot of specially made pieces that are just for these. You know, they didn't rely heavily upon parts that were already in the parts inventory for the K'NEX system, and I'm happy about that. It was a good build, a lot of pieces put together, a lot of stickers applied to it. Kind of felt like putting together a model, like a Gundam model or something like that. You know, it had a certain amount of pride involved in putting all the different pieces together. However, there were some difficulties along the way. These larger K'NEX pieces, some of them just following along with the instructions did not want to go together very easily. I ended up with swollen fingertips after putting together both. Now, these things for size, I'll just show you a militia pilot figure here. Quite a dramatic difference there. And, you know, it's a mech, so it needs to be able to angle different extremities in different ways and such, and needs to be able to fire off its main weapon there. And it does have the ability to open up the hand. It's got the five-fingered hand there, or actually 4-fingered hand. It's 3 fingers plus the thumb, and just a couple of joints. These all move together. They have a little bit of power to them, a little bit of friction, but not quite enough to really hold on to the main weapon here. You see, this will fall off or fall down, if not off, very easily. Also, the joints have a little bit of lack of friction that they really need. Now, these weapons are nice if they could hold on to them well. They're pretty nicely detailed. You know, this comes pre-assembled. There's one sticker that gets added on to this one. Just nice details on both sides for what it is. And it's spring-loaded. It has a projectile that you load in there, and you can actually shoot this thing, just a small little button on the side that will shoot out that projectile, and they give you a couple of spares. Just a shame that it doesn't hold on to the thing a little bit better. Let's show the articulation a little bit more. Now, this up here, let me show you this up more closely. You wanna, that's not good. Don't want that to fall apart. Really good friction in that actual ball joint right there, but if it gets a little bit too much friction, sometimes it will unlock the main joint, which will just allow the whole thing to pull out and pop apart. This is not fun. Things coming apart when you're just posing them normally, that's fully locked in there. That should not be happening, but I did experience that as a problem. Down here at the elbow joint, you've got a ratcheting joint. That works quite well. It's a little, you know, it doesn't look all that great around the edge there, but it works well. The problem here is that the entire lower arm can rotate, which is a good thing, but it can rotate too easily, which is a bad thing for holding up the weapon. If you get the weapon just to be, you know, sticking out, this is really frustrating, just to be sticking out just right in front of you, then that's not supposed to fall off. See, this is not off to a good start here. If you get this just right, it'll still start to kind of angle itself down on its own. Nice little ball joint in the wrist right here. Gives a very good range of motion. You know, you can hold the pilot in the palm or grab them. That, you know, looks really good, but just the functionality of the rest, this is really frustrating, guys. Down on the legs, the piece that came off with just a little flap right here, which unfortunately is just going to continue to fall off very easily, so I'm just going to leave that piece off right now. The legs have pretty sturdy joints in them. This is really not going anywhere, but you do have a joint down inside of there to allow you to get a little bit of angling motion. That is one of those ratcheted joints, which works very well actually. Those are good. Down below in the knee, you have another one of those ratcheted joints. Also a good thing, but what's up with that? Same thing that we just had going on with the arm just a minute ago, and not a good thing. Moving down to the feet, finally, we do have a ball joint in the foot, or in the ankle, which makes a lot of sense, except when that right there happens. Try to get that locked in. Again, I am pushing it in all the way until it fully snaps in. The articulation at the ankle allows you to angle the foot to the left and to the right just a little bit. Helps you to try to get this thing to stand up. Now, on that subject of getting it to stand up, a good robot toy, not just a display model, but an actual toy made to be played with, needs to be able to stand well. And you can see that there's a lot of flexibility in the joints and the pieces overall, but it does have a good enough base to it. The heel is far enough back, the toes actually function and give it stability. If you can get it to have its center of gravity centered over the center of the feet, it will stand up pretty well. But realistically, a kid going along and playing with this thing, I'm just going to try to put it into a very simple walking pose. Okay, that is going to work right there, but it's very close to wanting to fall over. It does get a little bit tough to get this thing to want to stay. This Atlas model has two hatches. You've got the set on the front, so I can just open that, and then you've also got one up on the top that you can use. The seat is inside there, and there's an interesting mechanism with a control stick on the back that goes through the body, through the hull, into the seat, and allows the seat to be raised up so you can set your pilot in from above, or you can access him from the front. There's a hole on the back of the figure, and there's a peg that sticks out that should hold them. There we go. Now it went in. I had to edit that quite a bit and just had another piece of the Titan fall off. Oh wait, I've got a couple of pieces that fell off. Had to edit that quite a bit because the figure kept falling apart, and as a matter of fact, oh look, another piece of the Titan just fell off. Even as it is right now, the pilot didn't quite get in there successfully, and I had just about every single piece of him fall off along the way, but got him in there finally and was able to get this to descend down, but now he's in pieces. With another little bit of video editing there, I was able to insert the pilot from the front. That works out much better. Now here's an ogre in IMC colors. Let's see if we can start anew with this one and see if this one works out much better. I personally prefer the look of the ogre model. Also had a very similar construction style. All the joints are done in the same ways. This one does not have as many little pieces added onto it, so it was definitely less frustrating. There are less things that can fall apart. This one also only has a single hatch from the front, and that works in a very straightforward way. And that one actually has a seat that's designed to go in and out rather than up and down. Again, you've got the little handle on the back. That just allows you to retreat that back in and push it out to give you very easy access to this seat. So this system was working much better. Hatch is working much better. Holding the weapon with this one, let's see if I can get this to balance up. This one really wants to just turn down like this. This one is able to hold on to its weapon a little bit better. The digits of the hand are grabbing it a little bit better, but it does kind of sag down. Let's see if I can move the shoulder joint. There we go. That's what we're looking for. Wait a minute. That's not what we're looking for. That is not what we're looking for. I want it to stay like this, but once again, just not enough friction in that joint that allows the whole forearm to hold or to rotate. It's nice that it can rotate, but when I don't want it to rotate, I don't want it to rotate. Now the left arm of this one has a little bit more strength in it. Got a little bit more lucky with that one, so it actually is able to kind of do what it's supposed to do here. As long as I don't mess with it too much, that actually looks like it's going to work. So, you know, it's just a difference in quality control from part to part, I would think, because they are built exactly the same. And that's what I want to be able to do. I want to be able to just hold that forward. There's not enough motion, or not enough available articulation from the arms to really give you a nice two-handed hold to a weapon. You can kind of bring the weapon across here to pose it like you're just holding onto it. That's pretty cool. That's a good look right there. But as far as shooting forward while holding the weapon with both hands, you don't really have that option to help you with posing. Again, the joints just have a lot of range of motion, there it goes, in them, and not friction where you want it to be. Stay. Nice variety of small figures included with this set though. You got IMC and militia, you got human or pilots and Spectre there. Nice arrangement or variety of weapons as well, including anti-personnel and anti-Titan weapons. The larger weapons actually have projectiles loaded into them, and you can kind of hit that from behind to make it shoot out. It's not spring-loaded, but these are interchangeable, and they do have some color, kind of color matching with them. That's pretty cool. This one right here is supposed to be special edition. I don't know if it's, or limited edition. I don't know if it's specific to this set and will never be made available in any other set, but it's a pretty cool looking one. Two major different builds between these. The Spectres can turn their heads side to side. They can raise their arm. They've got a little bit of a ball joint in the shoulder, so you can just move this in and out a little bit. The elbows are pre-bent, but you can't change that. The legs also have ball joints, so you can kind of turn them in and out. Very stable, these ones are. They also fit onto standard studded bases, so if you've got parts from other companies or the studded pieces from K'NEX, it'll fit onto those very well. The pilot figures have more articulation. They have everything that you just saw, plus the ability to bend at the elbows, so that's good, and they can bend at the knees, so that's also very good. So, you know, just a little bit extra detail there. See the extra piece that's added under the neck here. Also have a belt, kind of a utility belt with some other stuff on there. It can kind of slip around a little bit. This is a sticker that's actually applied, pre-applied from the factory on there, and yeah, you can get some pretty good poses out of these. The only thing that's a little bit tough with these is that the shoulder joints do come off quite rather easily. Also on some of them I've had the elbow joints come apart fairly easily. With this one I had to do it on purpose, but some of them they do just kind of fall apart. And as you saw earlier when I was trying to mess around with this pilot figure here, let's see, I think one of the things that happened was that a hand fell off at one point. Feels like they're in there pretty well right now. Yeah, that's pretty good, but the waist can come apart on some of these fairly easily. It depends on how they're feeling at a given time, it seems like, but they will start to kind of open up on you. So not the greatest quality of build with these. Very small pieces for the arms, a little bit flimsy there. I would worry about some of those small pieces being getting lost, especially for kids that have a lot of different toys. So just something to look out for there, but pretty decent looking figures for sure. Now we get to some of the structures, the Angel City structures here that are designed to give cover to the figures and allow you to run up walls and boost off them and everything. These are mostly, as you can see, built from traditional K'NEX struts and connector pieces. Pretty good in the design department here. You know, these are put together pretty well. But along the way, I did encounter quite a number of things that really had to be bent. It didn't seem like they were quite the right length, or just had a little bit of bend in the pieces that just made it a little bit frustrating, where different parts would start to try to pull others apart along the way. Eventually I got it together. It's interesting what they've done with the fascias here. These are cardstock pieces or paperboard, and they're just bent around and clipped into place. Adds a lot of coverage, you know. You have some action features to this. This is a piece right here that can be blown out, and you can just hit this right here as kind of a trigger for that. Blows that open, so that no longer is effective cover. You've got this right here, which can be used to hold on to a figure. So you can take one of your pilot figures and attach it to the ends there, and just use it to remotely be kind of moving the figure around. Not, you know, it doesn't go very far, unfortunately, but you know, it's just a little thing you can do. You can bring it around to the back, to the inside, kind of do some jumping around action with it. I think that's, you know, it's a nice little extra added thing to throw in there. Over here on the other side is another major action feature where you can just blow up a whole portion of this structure. Just use this as a trigger right here, and that whole thing is just gonna blow back, and then kind of works in a different way. Now it becomes something that you can easily hop on from over here on this platform to get up to here. Just another thing that, you know, just changes in your environment. Here's another structure. This one looks the best to me, and it does use one single huge piece of printed cardstock there, I'm calling it. Looks really good. You know, over time these things will get torn and crinkled and such, but I don't think that really is a major durability issue for these. I think that this is kid safe. The worst thing that can happen is if it completely gets torn up, then you just take it off. But even as it is, I think it's clipped in enough places that as it gets damaged from heavy play, it's still going to be usable. This one up here didn't go together all that well. It's just a little bit too close together. These pieces have to be bent in the worst ways. They're overlapping. They look really good in the end, but it's not a matter of assembly. It's a matter of really forcing plastic to go and to move and change and morph in ways that it does not want to at all. This one is rather plain from the back, but it definitely looks really good from the front. And most of the pieces, most of the complexity is all in this upper spire here. Also has another one of these play features here. It's kind of got the knob hidden underneath the roof for just moving a figure around. You can use that if you want, or if you don't like it, then just don't use it. And then there's the central tower, the major spire, and they got the different screens on it. More of just the same. These are actually stickers on plastic pieces. This is cardstock, just a couple of pieces bent around there. This looks pretty nice. This is a really good inclusion. It was also the easiest thing to build. The pieces went together normally. There wasn't any bending involved. There wasn't any coaxing. You know, stuff just assembled like you would expect it to. It's actually a little bit taller than it looks there. See, it goes all the way up to there. So this is a pretty nice piece here. This broken up street assembly is also included in the deal. The trees are pretty complex. I mean, there are a ton of pieces used to put those together, so it takes a good amount of time to actually make those. I wouldn't have minded getting just some specialized pieces with a lot less detail to do that, but once you get them done, I think they look very good. They really work with the whole K'NEX system, and you get a couple of piles of sandbags here. You can readjust how these things are connected, a couple crates in there. 3 stationary launchers included with this set. I did have to rob the black K'NEX struts pieces from the major structures that we just looked at, because I was short, I think it was 4 or 5, maybe 6 at the most pieces throughout the entire build. I was able to, again, rob pieces from other things. Fortunately, the major structures are put together with so many connection points that you can just take a piece out and you're not really going to lose anything. But it is a little bit frustrating, well, more than a little bit frustrating, to get a major set that is missing pieces. These are able to actually shoot. They've got these projectiles that are loaded in there. Squeeze this from the back, just kind of pinch it and then let go from the top, and that will shoot out. Well, it's supposed to shoot out. Some of them have a little bit more friction, some of them have a little bit more flexibility. There we go, that one worked well. Yeah, let's see if this one will work too. Yeah, not quite as well, but a little bit of variance there, but a cool extra little thing you can play with. And they also do include some extra weapons for the small figures, including a pair of frag grenades. So overall, I feel like the value that you get here, how much stuff that comes in the box, is fantastic. The mechs are huge. The building structure things are very large. This is almost more than a play set. This is more like a play arena. I may have encountered some frustration during the building process, but my main disappointments in this set come from the joints in the mechs, just not being able to hold up the weapons, having trouble getting them to stand securely and straight and well balanced, little things falling off, little things that fall off with the joints of the small figures. The last thing you want toys to do is fall apart when you don't want them to. You know, if they had a exploding feature where things can come apart to show damage, well, that's fine, but stuff that I'm talking about, you know, was not designed in. It shouldn't do that. Kids who want sets like these are going to want them mostly for the Titans, and even though they have some pretty serious issues with posing and playability, the kids are still going to want them nonetheless. I fear that parents are going to buy these things and then the kids are not going to play with them very long because they're going to fall apart and they're going to be frustrating. I like what K'NEX was going for here. I think their building system is valid and it works, but in the end you really need to be able to just grab one of these things with your hand, turn it, bring the arm up, shoot at the other Titan, shoot at buildings, shoot at the pilot figures and other things, and just, you know, pose it however you want and use it, because these aren't made for display, they're made for play, and for play they just don't work very well. So those are my thoughts, but please share your thoughts down in a comment, down in the comment section below. Also be sure to hit thumbs down or thumbs up on the video, depending upon whatever you thought about the video. Either way is much appreciated. I look forward to reading viewer opinions and hopefully hearing from some other folks who have bought these products. And I hope that you'll stick around and check out more of my videos, because more are always on the way. I'll be talking to you again soon. Bye for now.